Yo baseball fam. Strap in because this is not just another off-season recap. This is a full-blown explosion. We're talking the Chicago White Sox, the franchise that's been dead in the water for years, payroll scraping the bottom of the barrel at $91.8 million, 29th in the entire league. Fans are out here rioting, burning jerseys, begging for a sign of life. But then, boom. A leaked podcast from Just Baseball drops like a nuclear bomb, and Elijah Evans, the White Sox's director of operations, the guy running Future Sox and Call Up podcasts, storms in like he's got the nuclear codes. He's spilling insider secrets, simulating trades, hinting at massive moves that could flip the AL Central upside down. This ain't gossip, people. This is a conspiracy to rebuild under the radar, hijack the league, and make every rival team look like fools. White Sox faithful, your prayers might finally be answered? Or is this the setup for the biggest front office scandal since the Astros sign-stealing days? Let's tear this apart layer by layer, because by the end you'll be screaming at your screen. If you're already raging, smash that like button harder than a White Sox homer in the ninth. Drop your fire takes in the comments. Is Elijah Evans a whistleblower or a mastermind? Let's go. Alright, buckle up because we're diving deep into the madness. Step 1. The situation setup. Picture the scene. It's the off-season blues, White Sox payroll at a pitiful $91.8 million last year, projected to creep up to $112 million in 2026 but still dead last at 27th. They're making moves, swapping Chris Murphy from Boston for Ronnie Hernandez, grabbing Everson Pereira and Tanner Murray from the Rays for Yondry Gomez and Steven Wilson, signing Anthony Kay to a juicy 2-year $12 million deal, snagging Jettison PZ in the Rule 5 draft, Alexander Alberto and Tristan Peters from Tampa Bay, minor league deals for Jared Kelenic and Dustin Harris, Sean Newcomb locked in for $4.5 million. And the monster addition? Munetaka Murakami on a 2-year $34 million contract. But here's where it gets insane. This Just Baseball podcast isn't just recapping, it's a live dissection. Host Jack grills Elijah. Are you cool with us saying the White Sox are 3 years from contending? Elijah fires back. I was thinking too, but sure. Then they start role-playing trades, dumping Lenyn Sosa, axing Corey Lee, adding Max Kepler for $7 million, bringing in Danny Colome as a lefty reliever. Elijah nods along, dropping bombs like, we're not done, moves around the margin. Fans are erupting. Social media's a war zone with tweets like, White Sox leaking strategy on purpose? Media's in a frenzy. Is this a front office coup? Rival execs? They're scrambling, calling emergency meetings. Rhetorical question number 1. If this was innocent banter, why's Elijah, a key insider, they're spilling classified intel on air? Conspiracy alert flashing red. This feels like a deliberate leak to inflate trade values, scare off competitors, or signal a stealth takeover. People are furious and you should be too. What if this podcast is the White Sox's way of playing mind games with the entire league? Tell me in the comments, has the AL Central just been hijacked? Now let's zoom in on the players and teams because this roster's backstory is a soap opera of heartbreak and hype. Elijah Evans? Not just some podcaster. This guy's the White Sox's director of operations with a front row seat to Jerry Reinsdorf's throne. He's been the voice of the rebuild, whispering about shooting for the stars in weak markets. The White Sox. From dynasty to disaster. Think 2005 World Series champs to a team that couldn't buy a win. Their young core? Luis Robert Jr., the 5-tool phenom, Andrew Vaughn, the power bat, Gavin Sheets, the glue guy, and arms like Dylan Cease and Michael Kopech who could be aces if they stay healthy. But they've hemorrhaged talent, trading Eloy Jimenez for scraps, watching stars walk. Enter Murakami, the Japanese sensation, 2021 NPB MVP, mashed .279 with 39 homers and 100 RBIs last season. He's the right-handed anchor the Sox desperately need. Lenyn Sosa? The 20-homer masher from last year, but with Murakami in he's got zero path. DH is crowded with Yasmani Grandal, Sebe Zavala, and maybe Teal Caro. Corey Lee? The backup catcher with upside but third wheel behind the big boys. And the potential adds? Kepler, the 30-year-old vet with a frustrating track record, and Colome, the grizzled lefty. Here's the intrigue. Elijah hints at trading Sosa for a dart throw like Alejandro Rosario from the Rangers, a high-upside pitcher with risk. Fans are outraged. Sosa's ARB eligible, why trade him now? But execs see the genius. Comparisons to history? This is the Royals' 2014 rebuild on steroids, trading vets for prospects, then exploding. Or the Astros' sneaky rise, turning trash into treasure. White Sox fans remember when they traded for Jose Abreu. Boom, instant contender. Now with Murakami it's that vibe again. But darker. Like the Astros cheating scandal, this podcast feels like insider manipulation. Rival fans are apoplectic, Guardian supporters flooding forums, White Sox stealing our rebuild playbook. What do you think? Is this background a comeback story or a cautionary tale? Shout it out below. Oh, we're not done. Let's crank up the conspiracy dial to 11. Elijah's dropping hints like breadcrumbs. Not done. Moves around the margin. Speculating on packaging Sosa and Lee for a fifth starter, dangling Lee to the Phillies for Seth Johnson or Gene Cabrera. What? To clear runway for Murakami, keep the DH flexible. But here's the crazy conspiratorial twist. This ain't random. Elijah admits Sosa's got no playing time, Lee's values tanking. Is this strategic manipulation? The White Sox exploiting a weak market to shoot for the stars, as he says, buying low, flipping high. Fans are screaming cover up, they're tanking to hoard draft picks. Media's whispering sabotage, Reinsdorf's forcing a risky rebuild. Rival teams? Fuming. Astros GM Dana Brown probably seeing flashbacks to their own scandal. Elijah's leaks? Fueling outrage maybe to spark bidding wars. Rhetorical question 2. If the White Sox are just rebuilding, why leak this now mid-off-season? To manipulate perceptions? Inflate Sosa's trade value before it drops? Or is it a smokescreen for poaching bigger fish? Conspiracy theorists, unite. This podcast is Exhibit A in a league-wide imbalance plot. Imagine the White Sox as the puppet masters, using podcasts to destabilize rivals. What if Elijah's not done means a blockbuster like trading Luis Robert Jr. at the deadline? Fans, you're furious, right? Drop your conspiracy theories. Is this the White Sox hijacking baseball? Let's compare this mess to the ghosts of baseball past, because patterns are screaming. Remember the Royals rebuild? They traded away vets like Zach Greinke for prospects, then won the World Series with a 20-homer core. White Sox are mirroring that, swapping Gomez and Wilson for Pereira and Murray, young arms with upside. Murakami's arrival? Like Shohei Ohtani crashing the AL West, sudden star injection. But the dark side, echoes of the Astros sign-stealing, sneaky, under-the-radar tactics. Fans of teams like the Padres or Twins are enraged, White Sox copying our style. Past behaviors? White Sox traded Jimenez for peanuts, now buying back in aggressively. League patterns? Weak markets breed monsters. See the Guardian's cheap rise to contention. Elijah's podcast? It's Billy Beane's Moneyball strategy leaked live. People are furious. Rival fans flooding socials. Cheaters gonna cheat, rebuild gonna rebuild. Rhetorical question 3. If history repeats, is the White Sox's conspiracy destined for glory or another collapse? What past scandal does this remind you of? Comment now. Roster fit? It's a tangled web of genius and gamble. Murakami at first base? Locks it down but Sosa's exiled, DH rotates Grandal, Zavala, Caro. Lee's third catcher? Elijah says gone, freeing spots. Kepler in right? Platoons with Kelnick, 595 OPS in minors, 596 versus righties. Colomé as lefty reliever? Bolsters Sean Newcomb and Brandon Izard for leverage. Salary dynamics? Payroll climbs to $112 million, but Smart, K's $12 million, Murakami's $34 million spread out. Depth concerns? Infield thinned after DFAing Ben Cowell for Drew Romo. Development? Young stars like Robert and Vaughn get breathing room. But the tension, trading Robert? Elijah says no but hints at deadline flips. Roster implications, from 70 wins to 85? Fans hyped but execs fear cap traps. Rhetorical question 4. Is this fit a masterpiece or a disaster waiting to happen? How would you tweak this roster? Engage below. Scouting time, let's dissect like surgeons. Murakami, strengths, elite power 39 hours, solid contact .279 BA, righty back counters lefty heavy central. Weaknesses? First base defense below average, high K rate. Projections, 25 to 30 hours, 120 WRC plus. Kepler, strengths, OBP wizard platoon beast. Weaknesses, age 30 injury prone. Projections, 100 WRC plus if healthy. Colomé, 36 2.3 ERA/51 KS and 67 IP last year. Strengths, lefty length. Weaknesses, durability. Projections, 3.00 ERA/50 IP. Sosa, 20 hours but no walks, meh defense. Lee, backup solid but redundant. Elijah's trade dart? Sosa for Rosario, risky upside. Stats scream potential, 200 plus team HRs. But scouts warn, vets like Kepler could stifle youth. Rhetorical question 5. Who's the breakout star here? Your picks and comments. League-wide. Total meltdown. Rival fans, Twins/Guardians rioting, White Sox stealing our mojo. Media, coup in Chicago. Execs, Phillies eyeing Lee for Johnson. Reactions, socials ablaze, conspiracy. Padres fans hating Hoskins echoes. What? Imbalance fears. Rhetorical question 6. Who's the biggest loser? Rage and replies. Big picture? AL Central reshaped, White Sox contenders forcing trades. Free agency inflated. League imbalance worsens. Season, entertaining but rebuild long. Conspiracy? Manipulative markets. Implications, series dreams? Foundation set. Fans, excited yet wary. There it is, the White Sox conspiracy laid bare. From Elijah's bombshell to Murakami's mayhem, this rebuild's explosive. Cheating or genius? Fans, you're outraged rightfully. But this could ignite hope. What do you think? Trade Robert? Kepler yes/no? Is this the comeback? Like, subscribe, bell, let's fuel the fire. Peace ballers.